Hello, so today I'm going to show you how to change a guitar string. First of all, find a decent surface to work on. I'm using my table here. If you don't have a table, then you can use the floor, that's fine. Carpeted floor will be brilliant. If you are on a table, make sure you get yourself something soft to lay the guitar on. I'm using a tea towel here. That way you won't scratch the guitar or the table. Now, I'm changing my guitar strings today because they're old and they don't sound very good. But of course, the other reason you might want to change a guitar string is if you've broken one of them. If you change your guitar strings every few months or so, then not only will they sound really good, but hopefully you won't break them in the first place. So it's a good idea to tune your guitar before you change the strings and check the tension on each string. Get a feel of what it will feel like when you put a new string on. This will help you not to over tighten the strings when you put the new strings back onto them. Now, first thing to do, untighten the string, make sure you turn it the right way. Once it's loose enough, you can take this off. There you go. Now just be careful with this bit on the end here. It's quite sharp. Don't want to stab your finger on that. Ow! Now at the bridge end of the guitar, we've got these white pegs. Now there is a special tool for doing this job, but I'm afraid I don't have one at home, so I'm going to use a pair of pliers. Now you want to be really careful with the pliers. Perfectly fine to use pliers, but don't squeeze too hard. You don't want to damage the pegs. And just gently start rocking it. You might want to put your hand on the guitar to steady it. And just gently wiggle it and pull it. And also a good idea to hold the end of the string just above it, especially if it snaps. Sometimes it snaps right down at this point here. If you don't hold on to it, of course, as you pull the peg out, the remaining bit of the guitar string might fall into the guitar. It does happen, it's happened to me sometimes. If it does happen, you'll just need to shake the guitar upside down until it falls out. There we go. Now it's really important once you've taken the guitar string off that you coil it up properly. And the reason we do this is to make sure that the sharp end of the strings don't end up damaging your bin liners or hurting somebody. What is a really good idea to do once you've done all the strings is to put them in an envelope and then dispose of them in the bin afterwards. You'll notice that I'm doing one string at a time here. The reason for doing this is because when you take the strings off the guitar, you actually lose tension on the neck. It can do it some harm, so ideally you want to do one string at a time. If your neck is particularly dirty and it needs a clean and you need to take all the strings off, then just make sure you don't leave it for too long, because if you leave the guitar for too long without any strings on, then the neck can start to warp. And that's really bad. So I've got my replacement string. Here it is. Just uncoil that. And the first thing to do is take this end, put it into the hole on the bridge, get my peg and just pop it in. And you should just be able to push that in with your thumb there. Just make sure you apply enough pressure to secure it firmly. And then just pull the string up to make sure that it's fully threaded through there. We'll now go to the other end. Now pay attention here because you want to make sure you do this bit correctly. take the end of the string and just poke it through the hole on the tuning peg. Be very careful because that bit at the end is very, very sharp. As you can see here, look. So as you can see here, the string is about 10 centimeters away from the fretboard. You don't want it any higher than that, otherwise you'll end up with way too much string to try and wind around the tuning peg. Now, just bend the string round the tuning peg here. As you can see, there it is. Now, the three strings here, the E, the A and the D, you want to make sure you wind them that way round, okay? And the other strings this way round. Always a good idea to look at the guitar before you start doing any restringing, especially if you haven't done it before, to make sure you wind all the strings the right way round. Okay, so I'm going to start winding it up. Now, if I was at school, I'd have the same tool that I use for pulling the pegs out. Also, is a winder. It makes it a little bit quicker. Having said that, you'll always want to start it off by hand. Make sure you get it right. Now, I'll put a still image up in a moment so you can actually see exactly what I've done here, because it's not particularly easy to see. But you want to make sure the top goes over the string and try and keep the string pulled tight as you do this. So if you can see, the string is going underneath the winding. Can you see that there? And then once you've done one turn, you should then be able to carry on. Now, while you're doing this, just be careful because sometimes the peg can make its way loose from the other end. So you may have to adjust that, make sure the string hasn't come right out. Otherwise, you'll be doing it all again. Keep tightening it up there. Now, remember what I said at the start of the video about checking the tension on the string. It should be about the same tension as before. Now, normally I would do this last bit right at the very end. I would cut all 6 strings at once, but I will just show you what I'm doing here. Now, I'm just going to get really close, just cut the very end bit. Now, be careful. You don't want to chop the other strings because they'll flick up and they'll take your eye out if you're not careful. Just snip it off. Make sure you hold the neck so it doesn't drop when you do it. You'll see my fingers just underneath there. And then snip, there it goes. Now, just like with the old string, with these bits of extra, loop them up and put them in the envelope to put in the bin. I'm going to carry on and do all the rest of the strings on the guitar. And there'll be another video which will talk about tuning the guitar. Okay, go for it.